Hi, Michelle here, Thrifting 101. Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, welcome to my channel. I'm glad you're stopping in. I have a Goodwill thrift haul for you today, and for me it's a very exciting one, and if you follow my videos, you'll soon know why. I hope you enjoy. Mug up for 99 cents, and I was really happy to find it. It's got some crazing on it. It says New York's World's Fair 1964 and 1965. It has some timely graphics here. I'm sure you wouldn't see cigarettes anymore on the back of a mug. But what I loved the most about it was I was at the 1964-65 World's Fair, and I remember brought back so many memories. In our neighborhood lived my principal. I think I was all 6 years old then. She was a mean old spinster, and she kind of reminded me of one of those women you would see in Our Gang or the Little Rascals. And I remember my father, or the story of my father most likely, telling her that he was going to pull me out of first grade to take me to the World's Fair. She had a conniption, and he said, well, that's too bad. She's going to learn a lot more there than she would in one day of school. No offense to teachers. My daughter's one, and I love each and every one of you. But I do remember that story, and you know what? He was right, because I remember this World's Fair like it was yesterday, and my favorite thing about the World's Fair was GE's World of Tomorrow, and Orlando Walt Disney World still has that, and it's my favorite go-to event or ride or whatever you want to call it when I go there. Anyway, I picked it up for 99 cents, going to sell it for about 20 bucks. Paid $1.99 for this Anchor Hocking forest green 7-inch crimp vase. It's not marked, you can see there's no marking under there. Well, you can't see it, but believe me, there isn't one. And Anchor Hocking made forest green from 1950 to 1967. They made a lot of different shapes under the forest green name. They actually patent that name forest green for Anchor Hocking and for Anchor glass. Later on, they started giving them pattern names, or people started referring to them as pattern names. I hear this one mostly called Whirly Twirly. It does have the same pattern as the Whirly Twirly. I've also heard people refer to it as Beehive, but technically it's incorrect. It is just forest green. They made this vase between 1957 and 1965, and I'm going to ask $17 free ship for it. Found this Franciscan 32-ounce pitcher. It's earthenware. It's made in the USA. It's in the Hacienda Gold pattern, produced between 1965 and 1983. I paid $3.99 for it, but I thought it was worth it. I'm going to ask about $22 for it, probably with free ship. But as I was in my travels there, I found a whole stack of these saucers, and they were, I think there were 7 of them for $5, and that was kind of a lot. So I passed on them. But as I was walking around, I found 4 of these mugs. They're unmarked, but I knew that they went with these, so I went back and I grabbed the mugs and I grabbed all the saucers. So I have 7 saucers. I paid $5 for 4 cups. I paid $1 each for. I'll probably ask about $18 to $20 for this set alone. I'm walking around the Goodwill and I saw this yellow cup. I turned it over. It was unmarked. I thought, wow, that looks a lot like Taylor Smith, Taylor Luray. But I didn't pick it up because I wasn't 100% sure. I looked around a little farther, and literally you're gonna think I'm crazy or weird, but this is honest to goodness truth. I found all of this Luray here. They were marked in, or they were stacked in 2 different piles. I turned it over, I saw it and literally ran over to it, turned it over and said, it is Luray. I started to cry, tears of happiness. I paid $17 for all 28 pieces here, and I've been looking for Luray for quite a long time, and I've been lucky. I found that one piece I found in Goodwill. I found a yellow platter. I actually cried then too. It was my first piece. I was sent a plate right here. Let me see right here. I just want to show you. From my friend Richard. He helped start my collection. And I made a swap with a YouTube friend of mine. Her name is Leah, and she sent me these 3 pieces. I'm just in love with the sugar bowl. She actually sent me, excuse me, this yellow, or excuse me, pink bowl over here. It has a little chip in it, but I don't care. We traded. She liked some rooster dinnerware that I had, so it was a happy trade for both of us. And Luray was made by Taylor Smith Taylor between 1938 and 1960. Taylor Smith Taylor was out of Chester, West Virginia, in business between 1900 and 1981. And a fun fact I found when I was doing some research, when these pieces first came out in the 40s, that they were promoted as modern and charming dinnerware, which to me, they're still extremely charming. Teapots were going for 25 cents, saucers 15 cents, 6-inch plates 20 cents, the covered sugar bowl was 75 cents, and on and on. The most expensive pieces that they made then were a casserole and a teapot, both listed for $1.50. I am going to keep this, and hopefully cameraman's going to build me a shelf so I can sit here and enjoy it all the time. I did forget to mention that I am not a small teacup person, so I will be selling these for our cups. This one, the yellow one here, was put together, it cracked. It still holds, so I'm actually going to be selling them as a lot of 3 and throw this one in. I'm going to be asking probably $15 to $17 for them. This is an anchor hocking in the Moonstone Clear Opalescence pattern. I had a bunch of it, and I gave it to my friend Lori, whose mother or mother-in-law collected it. So again, this is my first new piece of it. It's very, very similar to Fenton. Fenton made a hobnail French opalescence, and the anchor hocking dates between 1942 and 1946. The Fenton between 1939 and 1964. The way you can tell the difference, one of the easiest reasons is the Fenton's bottom right here is clear. You can see the pattern here. But the anchor hocking, you can see the hobnail here, is round, and the Fenton is a little more pointed. So that's how you can tell the difference. Paid 75 cents for it. I'm going to ask about $5 for it. I was super, super excited to find these Hazel Atlas tumblers in a thrift store. I used to collect them. I now have only one. I don't need any more collection, so I'm going to sell these for about $40. I did pay $8 for the set. They're all in great condition. They're all hand painted. They were produced between the 1940s and the 1950s. A couple of these are marked with the HA logo. One is not marked, and one is marked a little bit differently, but Hazel Atlas is the only company that made these. I'm gonna ask about $40 for it. I know some people don't like clowns, but other people just really, really love these glasses, and I can see why. Fun fact I found out about Hazel Atlas, which I didn't know before. Hazel was the nickname given to one of the blast furnaces, and that's what it was called, Hazel, affectionately by some of the workers. On this gorgeous piece, which you'll see in a minute, of Walker China. It's restaurant wear or hotel wear, one and the same. I paid $1.99 for it, and if you can see that code right there, it says 1243. That date is December 1965. It's in good condition. I'm going to show you right now. This is an 11-inch round chop plate or platter. I paid, like you saw, $1.99 for it. I'm going to ask about $20 for it. The pattern is called Carnival, and they were in business, Walker China, out of Bedford, Ohio, actually, from 1942 to 1981, owned by Harry Walker. And they made china for railroads, ship lines, airlines, and military, the usual restaurant chinaware. This was another wonderful find I found at the Goodwill. Everything I found at the Goodwill. I paid $2.99 for it. And it is Kitchen Bouquet. That's the name of the pattern, by Universal Potteries. I had bought a platter once. It was a ballerina platter, different line, same company. This is part of the Camwood line. It was kitchenware. They made other interesting or different patterns. Two of the most well-known patterns were the ballerina, which I had just mentioned, and the cattail line. This is oven-proof, but it's not a casserole. You would think it would be, but I figured does not have a handle here. And when I looked it up, I found out that it is a medium refrigerator jar. They made a small, medium, and large jar. And I thought it would make a pretty good grease jar or a refrigerator jar. So I am keeping this, and they do sell for only about $10. It's a 1940s piece. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Most importantly, leave me a comment, and we'll see you again real soon. Have a great day.
Look at all the people.
And the weird buildings. What is all this?
You got me. Well, there's a sign over there. It says World's Fair. I guess we're back in Bedrock. I don't know, Fred. I don't remember anything like that at our fair. Wow!
Or that.
You're right. Or that.
Or that.
This whole thing has me dizzy.
Me too.
It's got me hungry. Any place around here to eat? Oh, yeah, there's a place. Let's go, gang.
Look, Mabel, some of the actors from the prehistoric exhibit. Aren't they fascinating?
Divine. Kind of cute too.
Found this picture here. First I found the picture. It's Franciscan.